These are the 24 best shots of 2024, as voted by the viewers of this channel, mostly because I've had to add a few extra shots as there weren't 24 tournaments, but we're still going to be working out which of these shots is best by recreating all of them as accurately as possible before playing them in the fewest possible attempts and hopefully not going in off. So let's start at the beginning of the year in January, where Shaun Murphy was taking on Jack Lazowski in the quarterfinals of the Masters. Jack had come back into it a little bit, but Shaun knocked in this final black to seal the match. This is a great long pot under pressure, as had he missed it, he'd almost certainly have left it on for Jack to get another frame back. Striking over the cushion like this can make it difficult to hit the centre of the cue ball, and if the white just moves a little bit left or right on its way to the black, then obviously it's going to make the black miss by quite a long way. I've been close a couple of times with this one, but I'm just struggling to strike the cue ball in the centre as I explained. That's a lot better, and we can move on to the next one. On from a match-winning shot to this Ronnie O'Sullivan positional shot at the World Grand Prix as he spins the cue ball round 3 cushions here and nudges a red away from the side cushion. This allows Ronnie to go on, clear the table and make a 67 break to take the frame, and he'd eventually beat Zhou Yulong only by 4 frames to 3. So this shot once again made a big difference. I was close to getting my first attempt right, and I would probably have been in good position, but I'm looking to get exactly the same cannon that Ronnie did, so I need a half-ball cannon on the right-hand side of the first red. This is pretty good. I can't expect I'll do any better than that, so I'm taking it. Also at the World Grand Prix, we have one of the best cued shots of the year from Ding. Not only does he pot this red, he screws the cue ball all the way back down the table. This eventually creates a chance for him to make a frame-winning clearance against Zhang Anda, allowing him to take the match by 5 frames to 2. Ding would eventually lose out to tournament winner Ronnie O'Sullivan in the semi-finals. I've got the pot, but unfortunately on my table, that's about all I can do with the cue ball. Sam Craigie went on a bit of a run at the German Masters this year, making it all the way through to the quarterfinals, where he went 3-0 in front of Ali Carter. He was a little bit unfortunate to run out of position here, but still manages to pot this long blue. He's a bit unfortunate to run out of position, but it's still a great shot bridging over the top of the reds. And he was able to take this frame, making it 4-0, before winning the match by 5 frames to 1. I keep unintentionally flicking right hand side on the cue ball, which is causing a problem, but I finally got it right and the cue ball into roughly the same position as well. A contender for Best Snooker Escape of the Year is next, and unsurprisingly, it's from Mark Selby. He plays the cue ball around 5 cushions at the absolute perfect weight here to land on a red. This allows him to win his first round match at the Welsh Open against Jan Sejun. I'm just following Mark's line here to see what happens, and then I can work out what I need to do next. But nothing because I've hit it. It's a fraction too hard, but that's about as good as I'm going to do. Also from the Welsh Open, this Elliot Slessor shot is another where a player has to bridge over the top of a ball, but despite this he still knocks it in and screws the cue ball back into a safe position in the first frame of his semi-final match. This allows him to comfortably go on and take the frame, but unfortunately he'd lose the match by 6 frames to 5 to Martin O'Donnell. As I'm both bridging over the green and trying to screw back, it should be fairly obvious that I need a central strike on the cue ball to avoid hitting it with any unwanted side spin and throwing the cue ball offline, that I keep getting wrong here over and over again. I can't seem to get anywhere near this on most of my attempts, and that's because I simply can't cue it straight enough. This has been the hardest shot to hit straight so far by a mile, albeit on the positive side, as long as I can avoid miscuing, I seem to be screwing the cue ball back far enough every time, so I've just got to pot it and I should be able to play the shot properly. So far, most shots have gone a lot better than expected, so it's not surprising with some of the best shots of the year to come across one I'm struggling with. I've got it though and screwed the cue ball back roughly to the right place, maybe a bit far. At the Players' Championships, Mark Selby took on the in-form Ronnie O'Sullivan, and he didn't just win, but with help from shots like this one, he was able to take the match by 6-0. This wasn't the only good shot that Mark got during this match, and there's one towards the end that virtually won him it, but this was the one chosen as the best shot from the Players' Championships. After getting the pot twice but getting into the cue ball a little bit too much, I've tried to hit it a bit higher. It's worked, it's a little bit short of pace, but that's about as good as I'm going to do. Also from the Players' Championships, this Judd trump shot, another contender for the best snooker escape of the year. Judd has to be incredibly accurate with this one, as the cue ball's really close to the cushion, and watch how he judges the arc of the cue ball as it comes away from the cushion. Not only does he pot the brown, but he takes the frame and eventually the match by 6-2. I haven't judged the arc correctly on my first attempt, so I'll have to get it right on my second. But will this be enough to beat the Mark Selby shot? On to the winner of the best snooker escape of the year, and it's obviously the Mark Selby shot. The accuracy he uses to play the cue ball around 5 cushions here and drop absolutely dead weight up to the reds, not allowing any pot. Next, oh, the lights have gone out. Oh, imagine this happening in a game. It must be torture. Ah, there we go, which can only mean it's time for this Mark Allen shot from the World Snooker Masters of the world. Either way, it's a really good in-off shot where he plays the red into the black to knock it into the corner pocket. You have to be really precise with this one, but it allows him to get his first frame on the board against Mark Selby. Mark Allen would eventually win this match with a couple of spectacular shots in the end, but we'll look at them more next week. I've been relatively close with most of my attempts, and I've got it. I would have probably got the position right as well had I not a double kiss the black, but that'll have to do. The European Masters gave us the most Judd Trump-like shot of the year from, unsurprisingly, Judd Trump, as he pots the blue here, powering the cue ball around 2 cushions and bringing the pink away from the cushion. This allowed Judd to make a 130 break, although it must be said the frame was definitely already over, and more or less the match by this stage, as he eventually beat Ding by 10 frames to 4. I can remember this one needing a small tracer right-hand side, so I wasn't surprised when I actually potted it I got the cannon, though I was probably a bit fortunate to get it on my first pot. At the Tour Championships, Tom Ford's won the frame but dropped a long way out of position. He finds this ridiculous cut though and manages to get the cue ball down the table in position on the pink, from where he'd be able to make a 1-3-6 clearance. This match had literally everything, and Tom only lost out in the deciding frame to Mark Williams from a wonder clearance. This is one of the hardest pots I've had so far, because you've got to find the correct angle from underneath the cushion, which makes it a lot harder, and it's difficult to get the exact angle right when you've got so far between the red and the pocket. However, other than getting the pot, there's really not too much to this shot, as you've just got to get it like that, and you should be down the table for the pink. Mark Williams has made it all the way through to the Tour Championship final to face Ronnie O'Sullivan, where with help from shots like this one, he was able to recover a first session deficit to take the match by 10 frames to 5, not losing another frame from this position. It's difficult to know if I got the balls in exactly the right position here, so I may have made it a bit too easy, but it's hard to say. At the World Championships, from where Ryan Day is, you'd think it would be impossible to get in position on the brown, but somehow he manages to screw the cue ball back far enough down the table to give himself a shot, which he'd take, make the clearance, and then eventually win the match in the next frame. If I use every single trick I know here, I do have a chance of getting back far enough, but it does mean throwing myself at the cue ball, which is going to make me a lot less accurate. I've potted it a couple of times, but I haven't hit it in the right direction to get the cue ball to screw back past the blue, and I didn't get enough on the cue ball, so I've got to give it even more. This is pretty good, and it's possibly as good as I can do, but I want to see if I can just get the white back a little bit further. That's gone a bit wider and a bit further back, and I'm on the brown. I'm pretty happy with that in the end. On to the Championship League. So this is a bit confusing, but bear with me, because Mark Williams is definitely taking on Connor Benzie here, and he's taking a 2-0 lead. But Connor would level this match up at 2 frames all, which, because it's the Championship League, that's a result. And that would mean that Mark would eventually win the group on something. He would definitely win the group and end up doing quite well in this, but not winning it. I'm confused. The pot on the blue is actually quite good. As I caught the previous shot too thick, I tried to miss the blue altogether, and that for some reason seemed to work. A little bit too hard for the pink, but that's more or less perfect. If we were giving an award for Best Pack Split of the Year, then this in fact, wait, let's do it. This gets the award for Best Pack Split of the Year, as Judd Trump in the final of the Shanghai Masters is nearly dead straight on this blue, but still manages to work the cue ball around the table, avoiding the brown, and make the cannon into the pink and black, just opening up the reds enough for him to be able to pot another red. This allows him to take the frame with 114 break, and he'd eventually take the match by 11 frames to 4. As you can see, the problem I'm having with this shot is generating enough left-hand side to make the angle and get the cue ball back far enough down the table. Topspin is also essential to make the cue ball arc towards the cushion, otherwise this shot simply wouldn't be possible. But I've got to try and get the white as close as physically possible to the brown, otherwise I won't be able to get the cannon on the pink and black. This is pretty good, and I think I've just about got it if I can see a red. I can just about pot the red, so that's good enough, but I couldn't hit it anywhere near hard enough. Kyren Wilson has a contender for Best Snooker of the Year next at the Xiang Grand Prix, as he manages to hit the edge of this brown and find an angle to get the cue ball around the angles and back down the table in behind the blue. This virtually wins him the frame, gets him back to 7 all, and he'd eventually take the match by 10 frames to 8. I don't think I would have ever come up with this one if I saw this in a game. I think I would have ended up clipping thin off the brown and playing the cue ball down towards the baulk cushion, but this would leave a range of options for your opponent, so this is a far better shot, and as you can see on the majority of shots where I haven't got the cue ball in behind the blue, it's still safe and it's still a fairly decent shot. But of course, I'm not looking to make do with something that's close to being right. I'm looking to get the cue ball tight in behind the blue here. So that wasn't bad, but I can do a little bit better. And this looks good if the cue ball slows down in time. I've got in behind the blue and got the snooker. That's about as good as I could have hoped for. Stan Moody clearly had the best shot from the Saudi Arabia Masters as he pots the difficult red down the cushion and screws the cue ball on and off the baulk cushion and out for the blue. Last time I couldn't get close to this one, so I'm not in any particular hurry to give it another go.
Oh my god!
Well, that's a little bit of an overreaction. Oh, right, fine. I'm getting my cue. See, I've got my cue. I'm giving it a go. I'm going to try. We're not going to get it, but I'm giving it a go. This time, though, I am doing something a little bit different, although it doesn't necessarily make the pot any easier, but I'm just playing this with a regular cue ball, because for whatever reason, just playing it with a lot of backspin and right-hand side seems to make it easier to screw back than if I use the magic cue ball at all, and the fact that I've got the pot means I've got the cue ball down the table, and I'm actually pretty good on the blue. That's a lot better than I was expecting. Another pot down the cushion, this time from Mink Nutcharut, was the best shot of the English Open, playing the cue ball back twice across the table safe. Mink didn't end up winning this frame, but did eventually win the match by 4 frames to 2. With shots like this one at speed down the cushion, I can only be so accurate. So I can get it very close to the pocket, but there's no guarantee it's going to drop. And I remember last time getting a number of them to rattle in the pocket, but not actually drop in, and thinking to myself, this is taking a lot longer than it should. And that time, the first one I got close with has actually gone in. So like I said, down to chance, but at least I've got it. Another contender for Best Snooker of the Year from Oliver Lines now, as he uses the middle jaw to knock the pink back up the table and he gets the snooker in behind the black. This didn't really matter because John Higgins eventually escaped from this snooker and took the frame and then eventually the match by 6 frames to 0. But the snooker is still pretty good, especially the thought process to come up with it. On the positive side of things, I'm getting the pink to strike the middle jaw about right, so it goes down towards the yellow pocket, which is what I need it to do. However, I'm just getting into the cue ball too much here. I need to play this as more of a stun shot than a screw shot, and this is looking a lot better. However, I've just left a bit of a gap through to see the pink. So can I correct it with this one? I think I can. I've got the snooker, although the pink's come over a little bit too far. This snooker from Xiao Guodong in the final of the Wuhan Open did make a huge difference, as he was able to win the match and therefore the tournament from it, taking his first ever title. Obviously, this is another contender for the best snooker of the year, but first I need to get the cue ball in behind the green, which is a little bit difficult because as I'm digging down at the white, it's very easy to put too much spin on the cue ball. And that's pretty good. I've got the white in behind the green and the red's roughly in the right place. So how good is it? So the winner of the best snooker of the year is definitely Kyren Wilson. Not only did he have the vision to come up with this in the first place, but he needed the accuracy to drop in behind the blue absolutely tight. Not only did this win him the frame, but it potentially even won him the match as well, and therefore the tournament. On to the Northern Ireland Open, which must mean it's time for the ridiculous Anthony McGill shot. Yes, he was probably trying to pot the first red off the second one, but the fact he got it clean is just silly. I had enough trouble getting it the first time round, and I really struggled to make the red drop in the pocket from such a narrow angle, especially when you have to screw back down the table. I think this is going to be another tough one to get it right, but hopefully I can do it in less attempts this time. Hopefully. I can definitely see why Anthony played it in this way though, as it seems like every shot you miss you end up fluking it somewhere. However, we're not interested in fluking it, we need to pot it clean, and I am getting fairly close with this every single time. I seem to be cueing a lot better than I was last time when we tried it. So in theory, I should be able to get it a little bit quicker, but once again, with a shot like this, it depends on just how lucky I am. As getting close isn't good enough. You need to be more accurate than it's possible to be here, and it's finally gone in. Annoyingly, I caught the middle jaw, but I'm taking it because I'm never potting it again. A great pot and positional shot from Chris Wakelin now in the semi-finals of the International Championships. He needs both the blue and pink to win the frame, and not only does he get it, eventually he just about wins the match by 9 frames to 8, taking him through to the final. This shot requires a lot of side spin and power, and it's taken me a few attempts to get that right, but I finally got one. I'm a little bit short of pace though, so I'm going to have to try again. I need to judge the spin correctly and ideally pot the blue into the far side of the pocket. The speed's a lot better this time, and I've ended up going topside for the pink. We've got an impossible Mark Williams shot coming up right after we find Sam, who's in Wrexham in Wales, which is there. Somebody must be trolling me with this next Mark Williams shot because it's the fluke from the Champion of Champions. There were far better shots in this tournament that people actually played, but as you voted for this one, I supposedly have got to have a go at it again. It's a miracle I got away with it the first time, so I think the only thing I can do is play those shots again until I actually get it, which if I remember rightly was just 3 attempts. Yes, I was right. Judd Trump looked really tough to beat in the UK Championships. He's 3-all with Neil Robertson here and plays this exhibition shot cut down the cushion, avoiding the in-off. He'd eventually defeat Neil Robertson by 6 frames to 3, and this is just a great pot, so let's see if I can get this lined up correctly. The main difficulty with this shot is avoiding the in-off, because it needs to trace aside and that makes the pot harder, but I've got away with it by hitting the jaw. As usual, you can vote for the winning shot using the link in the description. Just remember, this week you're voting for the best shot of the entirety of 2024. And we'll be back after Christmas with this year's cheekiest doubles. But until then, if you want to see some more videos, have a look at these 2 from tournaments earlier in the year. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.